Kada Scott was 23, smart, fine, focused, and just getting started. She had her own business, worked in healthcare, wore a crown from her pageant days, and carried herself like somebody who knew where she was headed. But the way she left this world, it shook people everywhere. The more you hear, the more it feels like everybody failed her. Period. That night was supposed to be easy. A date night, a little fun, nothing major, Topgolf, some wings, a few laughs. But by the time midnight hit, Kada was gone. Her boyfriend, Ramir, people call him Taz, said they'd gone out that evening, had a good time. Kada ordered food for both of them, and when he dropped her off, he thought everything was cool. Later, he realized she'd left the food in the car. He called, texted, nothing. Messages wouldn't go through, calls rang out.
Kada albeit just left the Topgolf. At Topgolf, Kada ordered food. I didn't, but she ordered food for the both of us. I didn't know. So she ordered hot wings, but she only liked the flats. So I was texting her to tell her that she left her food in the car. And the whole time, she had ate all the flakes out of the hot wings and left me all the drums. So she left the food in the car on purpose because she kept on trying to tell me, I need to eat.
Now here's where folks started side-eyeing the story. He said he texted her right after dropping her off, right? But the record shows he didn't send that message until hours later, after she was already gone. Like, how you saying the texts ain't deliver when they clearly did? Make it make sense. At first, people tried to give him grace. Maybe he was confused, maybe his phone tripping. But when the timestamps came out, that grace started fading quick. Kada's mom said she saw her leave for work around 10 that night. She worked an overnight shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, taking care of elderly residents. She loved that job, always showed up. That was her thing, showing up for people. And that night, she showed up again. But minutes after clocking in, somebody saw her step outside, phone to her ear, looking upset. A coworker told police they overheard Kada saying, "I can't believe you're calling me about this," followed by a curse. She was frustrated, clearly. Then they saw her walk toward a dark SUV waiting outside. The car pulled off. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. Phone records show she texted someone just before that. "Call me when you hear." That text went to Keon King, the man now charged with her murder. When police pieced together the timeline, it got heavy real quick. Kada and Keon had been in touch for days, calling and texting back and forth. This wasn't random. He'd been reaching out nonstop, 12 calls that day alone. And when she finally answered, it wasn't love talk. Something in that conversation had her heated. Her phone went dark less than 15 minutes after she left work. 15 minutes. No more messages. No more location pings. Nothing. So what really happened in those few minutes? Why meet up with someone who'd been stressing you all day? Was it closure? Guilt? Fear? Nobody knows for sure. But what's clear is that she got in that car on her own, and within half an hour, she was gone. The timeline is where it all starts making sense, and not in a good way. Investigators learned that just one day before Kada disappeared, Keon King had stolen a black 2008 Hyundai Accent. The car was left running by a food delivery driver on Sprague Street. He took it and kept it. That's the same car Kada got into that night, the one she thought was just a ride to talk. Cell tower data placed both their phones near her workplace at the same time. And then, just before 10:30 p.m., her phone went silent forever. Surveillance later caught that same Hyundai pulling into the Aubrey Recreation Center parking lot. 4 minutes later, her phone went dead. And here's the wild part. The car stayed parked there for 2.5 days, just sitting there while the whole city was looking for her. Keon, though, wasn't sitting still. His phone showed movement, trips between that same parking lot and a house on Belmar Terrace in southwest Philly. When police searched that house, they found contractor bags, a hammer, bullets, and 2 women inside. Both were questioned and released. But it was clear, this man wasn't acting alone. It's the kind of detail that makes you pause. Like, why that house? Why the stolen car? And who were the 2 women helping him move like that? By the next day, surveillance cameras caught more movement. Around 11:39 p.m. on October 5th, Keon's other car, a gold Toyota Camry, pulled up to the same parking lot. 2 people got out. They stayed for hours. Then, around 3:30 a.m., they went to the stolen Hyundai. What they pulled from that trunk changed everything. Court papers say they removed something heavy, consistent with the human body, and carried it toward the wooded area behind Ada Lewis Middle School. Then one person motioned to the gold Camry, and it drove off. 3 people total. Just like Kada's family had been saying since day one. Hours later, that same Hyundai was found burned to the ground in an alleyway. Every piece of evidence that could have been inside, gone. But even fire can't erase a digital trail. Keon's phone records, GPS data, surveillance, all of it painted one story. He planned this. He didn't just snap. He set this up days ahead. And that's what makes this case hit harder. Because when you look at the full timeline, from the text to the calls to the stolen car, it feels deliberate. The only thing missing? The why. Nobody knows what pushed him that night. Some say jealousy, some say control, some say maybe something deeper that's never been told. But whatever the reason, Kada didn't stand a chance. She texted him, "Call me when you hear," thinking it was just a talk. And within 30 minutes, her life was over. Days turned into weeks, and the case kept unraveling. When police finally arrested Keon King, it wasn't just one charge. It was almost 20. Murder, abuse of a corpse, conspiracy, tampering with evidence, arson, robbery, firearm violations. It was a list that spoke for itself. The city waited to hear how he'd explain any of it. And when his defense attorney finally spoke, it made people stop. Because this wasn't just any lawyer, it was Shaka Johnson. He's a known name in Philly, been in the courtroom for nearly 20 years, represented high-profile cases before. But this time, the community said, nay, this one different.
Family of Kada Scott is asking for attorney Shaka Johnson to withdraw from representing Keon King.
And you know that name because the 21-year-old faces numerous charges in the death of Kada Scott, including murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, abuse of corpse, and tampering with evidence.
In a Change.org petition, the Scott family says in part, quote, Philadelphia attorney Shaka Johnson has chosen to represent Keon King in this deeply painful and high-profile case. While every person has the right to legal representation, this comes a point where morality must outweigh professional ambition. So with those comments, we wanted to get the comment from Shaka Johnson himself. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Who approached you to take the case in the first place?
His parents.
Keon King's parents?
Yes, his parents.
Now, are you the one that convinced him to turn himself in?
I walked in with him. Yes, I turned him in, and that was before he was formally charged with anything having to do with her disappearance, her kidnapping, the arson, the murder subsequently. That was before any of that.
But you were already representing him officially at that point?
On the strangulation case that you've now heard about, that they're calling the first one.
Right.
The district attorney contacted me directly. That's why these remarks are so, quite frankly, nonsensical. Because the district attorney contacted me and said, listen, I understand you're representing Keon King on this first strangulation. no doubt there may be some other charges coming down the pipe, but would you surrender him? Consulted with my client, consulted with his parents, we decided to do that. Had no idea that this had any relationship to Kada Scott or this sort of case
why
of
would
this
the parents
magnitude.
ask you to represent it? So did they, well, they saw the news coverage, did they think their son did it?
No. They came to me long before they knew their son was ever involved. His name was even swept up in this whole case. They had no idea. No idea. They thought that their son was in very little trouble. Very little trouble.
Well, then why turn themselves in?
Well, because they're law-abiding folks. The parents are salt-of-the-earth people. If their son is being sought after, they want to hire an attorney. Please get to the bottom of it. See why the authorities.
Exactly. So that's where they wanted to
see
comply.
why my son is being sought after, and let's investigate it. That's exactly what it is. They had no idea he was associated with this. We obviously came to find that out, and at that point, I was already his attorney.
And because of the strangulation case, why was he out?
The case was withdrawn. That strangulation.
Because the victim didn't show up in court?
Because the victim did not show up in court.
Why don't they just do it by Zoom?
Well, no. You have the right. We have constitutional protections, and people have to come to court. You can't wage allegations against a person and then get on the computer. You got to come down, participate in the process that you began.
But aren't there some cases where even, for example, like domestic violence, or situations where even if the victim isn't able to come forward, that they're still able to prosecute, or is that just a different scenario?
No, this is a slightly different scenario.
Okay.
But in this particular case, she was given the opportunity to come to court twice. She didn't come to court, and so the case was withdrawn. As happens, let me be clear, this is not something that is highly irregular. It'll happen probably 50 times today. It happens every day. When I say every day, not once or twice.
Where victims are not,
where cases are withdrawn or discharged, or the government voluntarily withdraws the charges because the so-called victim or the complainant is not there.
If nobody agrees to defend him as an attorney, is that when they appoint a public defender?
Well, I don't know that many people would not agree to defend him. We represent, when I say we, I'm speaking about the criminal defense bar. We represent people from all walks of life who are accused of all manner of heinous crimes, okay? And
I remember didn't you represent a Proud Boy at
yes,
one time?
Yes, I did. I represented Zachary Real, or one of the leader of the Proud Boys.
Did you have any folks from the community upset when you were representing him?
I got no emails. I got no social media, whatever. I got none of that. And I'm talking about, and he was obviously not the most high-profile person. Of course, you remember when I went and got Maurice Hill from that police barricade standoff for 8 hours. This is what I do. This is what I do.
And how long have you been doing this?
Almost 20 years.
So is this the first time then that you've seen, because there's a petition that's also been put out that has about 2,000 signatures of people asking for you to withdraw from representing Keon King. Here is the about 2,500 petition people have been posting. Have you ever had reaction like this from the community for representing someone?
No, I never. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if it's the clickbait. I'm not sure why this particular case, why this one case, because you cover news, you cover violent crimes. You know there are people getting killed on a daily basis in this community. I'm not talking about worldwide. In our city of Philadelphia, there are men and women and boys and girls murdered daily. They all have lawyers. So I'm not sure why this particular case.
Maybe it's all because everybody involved in the case is black.
Well, we're in Philadelphia. Out of the 1.6 million people in this town, most of the crimes in that criminal justice center are perpetrated against black people by black people.
Well, and we should mention that was brought up in the petition. If you look at what's on the website, it says, as a respected black attorney, Shaka Johnson's involvement in this case sends a chilling message to the black community that even those who claim to fight for justice are willing to defend known abusers, even those responsible for harming and killing black women.
Yeah, that's really sad rhetoric, and people should be really more conscious of their words and the things they put out to the unsuspecting public, because if they were to take just one moment to get from behind the computer and come down to the courthouse, you would see that the rooms are chock full of people who are accused, people who look like me, accused of committing domestic violence, against people who are against victims who look like me as well. And they have black attorneys, black private attorneys, black public defenders. I don't know that this is necessarily black versus white, honestly. I think this is more about the reputation that I've garnered as a successful attorney.
I think that's part of it. You have been very successful. Maybe they think you're too successful. Answer a couple other charges. He's doing it for money.
Me? No. I could do this case for free. It wouldn't really affect my bottom line.
Okay, doing it for notoriety.
Then what do we say about, I know we don't have that sort of time and we're not here for that, but I could give you probably 15 cases that I've done in the last maybe 5 years that are of higher notoriety than this, to be honest with you, right? So that's not it. People come to your office and they consult with you and they say, listen, Alex, at one point there was a gentleman, giving you some grief and they had to go to court. That gentleman had an attorney. Right? So people have attorneys. That is part of the constitutional protections. What few we have left, those are the constitutional protections that are still in place. Due process. You get a lawyer when you are accused of a crime, and you get a lawyer of your choosing.
Is this hurtful for you?
No, I don't operate on the frequency of social media. I'm not on that bandwidth at all.
One last thing, just since you've been representing him even before these charges came out, and I know this is going to be played out in court, so there's probably not too much you can say, but is there more about, because people have been assuming and trying to figure out all kinds of reasons, is there more that we will learn about Keon King? Do you think he is mentally stable enough to do trial?
I think you're going to hear some more about Keon King, and the reason why I have been interestingly quiet, right? Because I think you both know that I'm not afraid of cameras. I'm not afraid of a microphone. I will pull up a podium. That's what I do. In this particular case, you've noticed I have been deafeningly silent. I haven't said a single word. This is my second interview. I did one Friday and then one today on this particular subject matter, and nothing about the case, because I want this to play out in court where the rules are different. The court of public opinion has no rules. You can do what you want, say what you want, like the DA's been doing so far. I am not doing that. I want this to play out in court where we have rules.
Okay, we want to get you on tape saying this. Will you withdraw from this case?
N-O.
Well, that's your side of the story.
And I'm sticking to it.
Right.
Yes, thank you. And we also want to mention, of course, that we've been talking with the family, and if the family's more to say, we will also get their side, as we played some quotes for you there.
But they
from
asked
their petition.
that everybody stop, asking them for statements until this woman is laid to rest, and so we'll respect that for sure.
True.
And
that's part of the reason. Can I just say that, Alex? That's part of the reason that I haven't said very much. I'm trying to show the most respect, and I think you can do two of these things at the same time. You can show respect to the decedent and her family, and sort of, believe it or not, the defense attorney can be a part of that healing process. You can, which is why I've been quiet and just doing the work where the courtroom suggests I do the work.
All right, it'll be played out in court. We'll come right back.
Now, whether people believed him or not, that's up to them. But one thing's for sure. This case hit nerves everywhere because it wasn't just about one man's defense. It was about the message, about how black women keep ending up unprotected even after they're gone. Kada Scott's funeral was held in Philadelphia on November 8th. It was packed. Family, friends, Penn State alumni, pageant sisters, co-workers, all gathered to say goodbye. A room full of people who loved her, who couldn't understand why she had to be the one. She was more than a headline. She was the friend who showed up, the daughter who made her mama proud, the young woman who worked hard, smiled bright, and dreamed bigger. And that's the part that stays heavy because she did everything right. She went to work. She loved openly. She trusted people. And in the end, that trust cost her life. We still don't know the full story behind what happened that night. Maybe we'll find out in court. Maybe we never will. But what we do know is that a young black woman lost her life to someone she once trusted. And if that doesn't make us pause, if that doesn't make us look closer at how we protect each other, then we're not learning anything at all. Thank you for watching Crime in Cold Light. This is the space where we talk about the real, the raw, and the tragic stories that deserve to be seen in full light. Rest in peace, Kada Scott. If you want to keep following stories like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, truth hits different when you see it in cold light.